Greetings from Costa Rica. What are the best things to do in Costa Rica here as we approach the holiday season? Tonight, I want to talk about some very simple ideas regarding how people can celebrate the holidays here in Costa Rica and the top 3 things that you should be focused on accomplishing if you're coming here over the holiday season. Thanks very much for joining me tonight. My name is Matt Rosensteel. I'm the owner, broker of Latitude 10 Realty here in Playa Junquial, Guanacaste, Costa Rica. It's a pleasure, as always, to have you for this live Costa Rica chat. We're here on a Thursday night at 7 p.m. Costa Rica time because the normal evening for my broadcast, Wednesday evenings, last night featured an internet outage that really threw a nice wrench in the works. I came in to get ready for the broadcast last night. The internet had been out for a couple hours. And to be honest, as soon as I found out that I wasn't going to be able to broadcast, I went with the flow, just like a Costa Rican pura vida attitude-minded person should do. And we had to postpone until Thursday. It's December 9th, 2021. Again, my name is Matt Rosensteel with Latitude 10 Realty. Tonight, the topic is the best things to do in Costa Rica, and specifically Guanacaste, Costa Rica, if you're coming here over the holidays. I want to see in the chat, the comments, are you coming down to Costa Rica? Are you going to be joining us over this holiday season, or have you before? What do you think I'm going to talk about? What could I possibly have as the 3 top ideas for how to celebrate the holidays? I'm going to be focusing on ideas to help you celebrate like a local, not like a tourist here in Costa Rica. So folks, once again, it's time for our live Costa Rica chat with Costa Rica Matt. Buckle your seatbelts. I'm thankful that you're joining me here on Thursday, despite our normal time being Wednesday night. Let's head on to the show. Stay tuned. If you're headed to Costa Rica over the holidays, you're looking for a way to celebrate that doesn't necessarily mean you're just going to be trapped into the normal tourism stuff. My name is Matt Rosensteel, and tonight I want to talk about 3 ideas for celebrating the holidays here in Costa Rica like a local, or at least like some of the foreigners who have moved here and spent a ton of time already in the country, so that you've got the best way to truly celebrate the holiday season here in Costa Rica. Again, it's Thursday, December 9th. We're doing live Costa Rica chats every Wednesday night, though this one was postponed due to a pura vida internet outage last night. I want to say cheers to everybody out there who's patiently waiting to close on their real estate deals. I also want to say cheers to everybody who has so far closed on a real estate deal in 2021. I really, really appreciate my clients, my friends, the people who are investing here in Costa Rica. Cheers and pura vida. You might notice I've got Pilsen tonight rather than Imperial, which is not meant to be any kind of political statement. Really, it was just the tall boy in my fridge when we started out. Steve, it's beautiful to see that you're in the chat tonight. It was also wonderful to show you around Junquial, and I'll look forward to you coming back to Costa Rica and doing even more research, etc. Again, if you're out there and you want to give a shout out, let me know. I'll try and hit you up from the comments. But without further ado, let's start talking about the absolute best things to do in Costa Rica over the holidays here. And my intention is to help guide you so that you can celebrate not like a tourist, but like somebody who actually lives here in Costa Rica. And my first idea, the first absolute best way to celebrate the holidays this year in Costa Rica, and specifically Guanacaste, may surprise you, but I'm going to recommend that everybody who comes down here spends an entire day at the beach. I want to emphasize the importance of those 2 or 3 words, an entire day. I think that there are few Americans, Canadians, and Europeans who have ever gone out to a beach and truly camped out there all day, eaten a meal, and relaxed in front of the ocean for 8 or 10 or 12 hours. And over the holidays here in Costa Rica, you're going to see that that's exactly what Costa Ricans want to do. Excuse me. If you live in an area like Playa Junquial here at the coastline, over the next month, and especially from about December 20th until January 5th, we will see an enormous movement of people out to the coastline. And a lot of Costa Ricans are going to be packing mattresses, coolers, grills, everything they need to spend an entire day at the beach, a soccer ball, a couple things that will keep their kids entertained. You'll even see people with inflatable pools. But the point I really want to emphasize here is that if you're in the area sometime over December, January, you should really take the opportunity to pack up the car with enough stuff to live at the beach for a full day. You should head out in the morning, and you should absolutely try to do it, because it's one of the ways that A, you'll be able to really celebrate the holidays here in Costa Rica like Costa Ricans, and B, you're going to benefit honestly from the great feeling and probably the health benefits that you get from an enormous, wonderfully relaxing experience in front of the ocean. Let's talk about what you need to make your perfect holiday at Costa Rica's beaches an enormous success. First of all, you're going to have to focus on finding shade. There are beaches here that have trees and parking spots with a great place that you could camp at all day. And there are other beaches that don't have a single bit of shade along the entire length of it. For example, here in Junquial, we've got 4 or 5 different locations with these trees that are called almendros de playa, or the beach almonds, that form unbelievable shade that if you get the opportunity to put your chairs under there, you're already set up to spend the entire day at the beach. There are other beaches here that don't have nearly as much shade. And if you're thinking of tackling this, taking an entire day at the beach, you should really focus on first scouting out a location where you're going to be able to camp in the shade all day. Otherwise, it's just not going to work, because trust me, the equatorial sun here in Costa Rica is brutal. If you're staying in a community where you don't have trees along the beach and a lot of good places to stay, you need to figure out an umbrella situation. The second and third things that you are definitely going to need to take down to the beach are your cooler and some means of cooking. My wife and I take down a simple grill, charcoal, and a charcoal starter. Now, all of that could be a very difficult thing to find, but if you're renting a property here or going to a hotel, it's worth it to find out whether or not you're going to have access to beach gear. Can I borrow some chairs? Can I borrow a grill? Even just the top of it? Can I borrow a cooler? And you'll find out that a lot of Airbnb hosts and a lot of hotels here have that equipment available to you to be able to go to the beach. You just have to make sure that it's lined up for your ultimate beach day. Really, and if you're looking for some of the beaches that might be the best place in Costa Rica to spend an entire day, if you're looking in our area, honestly, Playa Tamarindo is great because there's a ton of restaurants, a ton of places you can find shade, and really you could spend an entire day there without having to actually bring a ton of supplies. Down here south, we have Playa Blanca, a white sand beach where you've got access to a ton of shade everywhere and kind of these forested places where you can sneak up and camp for an entire day. And Junquillal itself has several places that people can park, set up a campsite, and spend 8 to 10 hours. And I guarantee you, one of the things that's amazing over the holidays that you'll see, Ticos, Costa Ricans, will come out to the beach with a very different expectation than you'd see in Miami or other American, really tourist places. They're coming to the beach, like I said, to spend an entire day. You'll see them bring out mattresses. You'll see Costa Rican families bringing out coolers that are 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. They'll spend a full day enjoying the ocean. And it's something that can't be undervalued here because, first of all beaches in Costa Rica are public. You're going to have access to any place you want to go to. And second of all, I guarantee after 8 hours sitting on the Pacific Ocean here in Costa Rica for a full holiday, even better if you can leave your cell phone at home or if you can completely disconnect yourself from any connection to the world, you should take the opportunity to go out there and sit for a full day and see what it's like to celebrate like Ticos in the most possibly authentic way that really Costa Ricans celebrate the holidays. Let's go on to number 2. What's the best things you can do at the end of the year here in especially Guanacaste? If you haven't been here at year end, I want to talk about fiestas, the local festivals or parties, however you translate it. Fiestas are a spectacular part of the local culture. Tonight, I've got an interview with MacDonald Espinosa. He's a community leader who every year is involved in the planning and execution of these fiestas. He's also a member of our municipal council. I wanted to talk about MacDonald, about whether or not we're going to have fiestas this year anywhere, a little bit about what they are and what they mean to people. I'm going to show a couple clips of these fiestas, but this is a local celebration that happens in nearly every town in Guanacaste throughout the holiday season, starting in mid to late December and through April, really. I mean, it's not just a holiday thing. You're going to see these fiestas happening that consist mainly of 2 elements: bull riding and a dance afterwards. I want to show you a little clip of what it looks like here before we get to our interview with MacDonald, so you can get an idea of how these look in Guanacaste. They're much less regulated than you might imagine festivals involving bulls should be if you live in the US or Canada. And there's something special to this part of the country where bulls and cattle ranching were such an important part of the culture. So I'm just going to play a quick clip, first of all, from fiestas here, generally in our county, and what they look like when we're doing our bull riding. Here we go. And let's just hit this here. This is from after the bull has been kicked off the rider. Here's an actual bull ride. You'll notice that lots of people are in the ring with this bull and the rider, and that's part of the fun. Anybody who wants to show off can get into the ring in these fiestas and, generally speaking, first taunt the bulls and then, really try and show off for everybody in the community just how willing you are to run away from them. You'll see the bull kick off the rider, and then basically everybody who's in there taunting it for a little while to try and, really just play around, and also, like I said, to show off for the local community. Remember, Guanacaste is a rural area. This is very much a place that feels more like you're going to see county fairs rather than the big plays and productions for a night before Christmas. So I highly recommend going to these fiestas if you're in the area. And here are a couple of quick tips if you're thinking of doing it. First of all, you need to find a small rural town that is outside of a tourism town, because if you go to these festivals, the fiestas, in a tourism town, and they do happen there, you're going to see a ton of foreigners. And frankly, it somewhat loses the atmosphere and it doesn't feel quite as authentic. Second of all, you need to hire a designated driver, because frankly, one of the most fun parts of the fiestas is the drinking. Everybody in the town is generally out having beer. If you yourself don't drink, that's fine. But guess what? As you leave the fiestas and everybody on the roads, it can be somewhat of a crazy situation to drive into and out of. And if you're visiting the area and you can line up some kind of private transportation, in my opinion, one of the greatest experiences in Costa Rica holiday tourism will be to go to these local fiestas in a small town where it's going to have a ton of local flair rather than just tourists. Finally, I wanted to recommend, if you're headed to fiestas, this is based on my experience as someone who goes as a local. Please don't wear your tourism outfit, your bathing suit, tank top, and flip flops, or don't wear something that just looks utterly like you didn't care one bit. Because I'll be honest, the people in the community who are going to these fiestas care a whole heck of a lot. And you're going to see a lot of them dress up in their absolute finest gear. Really, you'll see a ton of people dressing up as cowboys in their finest button-up shirts, blue jeans, etc. And if you want to have a good time, I don't think you should go looking like an utter foreigner, but instead not only try to blend in with the crowd, but it's a sign of respect to show up to a local festival that people take importantly, dressed well. And I can't emphasize that enough. To me, I see foreigners coming through communities all the time, and I really think that you can show a high level of respect for any event by going there with some nice clothes on. So if you're headed out to one of these fiestas, literally, you should find a Goodwill or secondhand store. Get yourselves a ridiculous Western shirt, some blue jeans, some boots. Go all out. But the point is, fiestas at year end are one of the most easy ways for you to celebrate as a local rather than just being a tourist here. As I mentioned, I talked about fiestas with a local person who's very important to the organization and execution of fiestas. I'm going to put on an interview here where we do bilingual interview, Spanish and English, with MacDonald Espinosa. MacDonald is a community leader who works very hard every year, not only to help organize our local fiestas, but a Christmas tree ceremony here in Paraíso, this town that I live in, for which I want to ask for your support if you happen to live here. Here's my interview with MacDonald Espinosa, in which we talk about fiestas and the traditions here surrounding the holiday season. I'll go ahead and try and jump in the comments here in the chat and translate as we go along. But I also jump into English to translate the interview as it comes up here. So without further ado, here's MacDonald Espinosa. I'm here with MacDonald Espinosa. Estoy aquí con MacDonald Espinosa. We're going to try and do a bilingual video segment here. MacDonald is a community leader here in our area. He's a member of the Santa Cruz Municipal Council, He also organizes all kinds of efforts for the holiday season. Estoy explicando que usted es un líder comunitario, que usted hace un montón de cosas así para preparar la Navidad, que es un líder comunitario, miembro del consejo. And he has an amazing restaurant here in Paradise. If you're ever visiting Junquial, our area near Tamarindo, Restaurante Latino,
Latino.
our official sponsor for tonight's broadcast, is an excellent option for some amazing Costa Rican food, burgers, quesadillas, all kinds of stuff. McDonald, muchísimas
Mucho
gracias
gusto.
por venir para hablar
No,
conmigo.
gracias a usted por venir y tomarme en cuenta en este conversatorio.
Siempre. Eh, yo estoy recomendando a la gente extranjera que durante el fin de año se van a una fiesta típica en vez de hacer cosas solo turísticas. ¿Cuál qué nos puede explicar sobre la tradición de las fiestas y por qué se hace? I've asked McDonald why we do fiestas here and for him to explain a little bit about the fiestas here in Guanacaste as I turn off my messenger there.
Sí, no, las fiestas en fin de año es una tradición que se ha llevado a cabo desde hace muchos años, tanto en Paraíso como en todos los pueblos vecinos. La montadera de toro, el baile, los topes. Es una tradición de nuestros ancestros, de nuestros abuelos, que nosotros como nueva generación pues hemos venido siguiendo y que en realidad es una de las atracciones turísticas, porque en realidad si hablamos de Guanacaste, Santa Cruz, todo el mundo lo primero cuando habla de turismo, el extranjero se imagina las lindas playas, que sí las tenemos,
Yep.
son muy bellas, pero también está la otra parte, conocer la gente, conocer sus actividades, qué hacen, en qué se divierten,
Sí.
y específicamente las fiestas es una de las actividades que poco a poco han venido creciendo y que al extranjero, al turista, le agrada mucho.
McDonald explained that the fiestas here are, a decades-old tradition. It's been passed down generation after generation here in this cattle ranching area. Really, the fiesta consists of the montadera, bull riding, where young men from the community or nearby communities do their best to stay on a bull as long as they can, and then el baile, the dance that they have after the montadera. Essentially, these events really
Topes.
always have toros, bulls,
Topes.
and the baile, which are the two central components. They'll also have some other stands, etc. And it's a tradition that the new generations are also really keeping up. And when I mentioned to him, that what can they do that's not so touristy, he ended his explanation saying, really tourists love the fiestas because it is part of the culture here. It's something different and it's becoming a growing popular thing for tourists to do. Ahora, estamos en COVID, McDonald. No hemos tenido fiestas desde el 2019.
Ujú.
¿Habrá fiestas este año? I'm asking him, we haven't had fiestas since before the pandemic. I'm asking him if there will be fiestas going forward.
Bueno, es una excelente pregunta. Bueno, en nuestra comunidad Paraíso no va a haber fiestas porque ya los tiempos, la tramitología y todo eso que conlleva realizar un evento de esa magnitud, los tiempos no nos dan. Pero si la situación sigue mejorando a como al día de hoy va, donde los casos han bajado considerablemente, donde ya la gente anda un poco más tranquila, la cantidad de vacunados pues ha alcanzado su mayor alcance. Creo que si pensamos que al principio de febrero en adelante, si todo transcurre con normalidad, como va transcurriendo hasta el momento, pues creo que sí, algunas comunidades van a poder realizar sus fiestas.
A mí me sorprendió el otro día ver que hay tan pocos casos en el país. Yo no sabía que teníamos tanto éxito aquí, pero McDonald, so I asked him, are there going to be fiestas? And he said, here in Paraíso, our town, it's already too late to get all the paperwork done and organize it for this year. In Paraíso, we normally have the fiestas right at Christmas time, which is a spectacular way to augment the fun of the holiday. But we're coming up on Christmas and things weren't good enough with the COVID situation early enough, and so they won't have fiestas here. There will, however, be the opportunity to have fiestas further along in Guanacaste's dry season early in 2022. And specifically, he mentioned if we see the continued success in the decline in the number of COVID cases, hospitalizations, deaths, etc. We're recording this right now on Wednesday, December 8th. I was surprised to see that Costa Rica is in such good shape. They have very few COVID cases. They have some very surprising statistics that show a significant decrease. The vaccination campaign has been very strong here, and so it does sound like these fiestas will be possible. Ahora quiero preguntarle sobre otra tradición que tenemos aquí en el pueblo y otros pueblos, el árbol navideño en la plaza deportiva. We also have a Christmas tree in our plaza and an effort that he leads that I'm going to ask for your support for. Cuéntenos sobre esa tradición de tener el árbol y organizar una fiesta de niños.
Bueno, la tradición de la fiesta de los niños eh, se, se extiende o se lleva a cabo desde hace como 30 años, 35 años. Imagínate que yo recibí juguetes de esa tradición. Cada año se ha venido realizando, cada periodo se han cambiado líderes, han venido mucha gente involucrada en el tema y al día de hoy, pues, aunque es un poquito complicado con el tema del COVID, las organizaciones no han tenido los recursos o no han tenido ese acompañamiento y pues ha sido un poquito complicado, pero al día de hoy pues, se mantiene la tradición de llevarle alegrías a los niños.
So, every year in the community, McDonald and other leaders organize a fiesta for kids, a party around the night that we turn on our Christmas tree in Paraíso. And this Christmas tree, yeah, it's beautiful. It's big marco, a frame, you know, with cloth stretched over it, all kinds of lights spinning up it. And when you come into Paraíso, it's a really beautiful thing to have there. And they also have a party for kids in which they give every kid a toy, which is extremely important in this area because obviously a lot of families would not be able to give their kid anything. And by bringing the community together and every kid getting a toy, it's a really great thing to strengthen the community bonds and see everybody sort of enjoying each other. So McDonald mentioned it's been going on for 35 years here in our community. He himself was receiving these toys when he was a little kid. He's grown up in the area, and they've been able to maintain it despite COVID, despite everything. So if you're involved in our area in any way whatsoever, I wanted to remind you que aquí está pidiendo donaciones. McDonald has a huge box in his restaurant, Restaurante Latinos. They need gifts for every kid in the community. ¿Cuántos chicos reciben un regalo durante la fiesta navideña normalmente?
Bueno, en realidad pues el número se ha incrementado. Antes pues Paraíso era una comunidad pequeña donde habían 100 niños máximo. Ahora hay muchos niños, hay alrededor de 300. Y es que Paraíso como es un lugar muy estratégico en medio de dos
Sí.
comunidades como los Pargos Playa Negra y Junquillal, pues casi que vivimos todos involucrados. Entonces el tema de la población de niños pues es mucho más grande. Entonces de ahí es que la colecta de juguetes pues se convierte en una colecta grande y
Sí.
donde más involucrados hayan sería mejor.
The event used to serve about 100 kids or even less. He said, you know, Paraíso, this community, has grown a ton over the years. Now they're giving gifts to over 300 kids because we're in sort of an area where they'll have a lot of smaller communities. The families come to Paraíso because of its central location. Again, if you're in our area, stop by Restaurante Latino. You can make monetary donations, and he'll use it to be able to get toys. They'll just buy bulk purchases. You can also bring new good toys, plastic stuff, whatever you want to contribute and leave here at Restaurante Latino. The last thing I'm going to do is ask whether McDonald approves of my fiesta shirt here and whether I'm ready for fin de año. McDonald, ¿qué le parece
No, excelente.
esta camisa como camisa para fiestas?
Está buenísima para ir al tope, hasta para ir al baile, ¿no? Está excelente.
All right.
Me gusta mucho.
McDonald Espinosa, muchísimas gracias por venir para hablar sobre las fiestas. Make your donation. Participate in fiestas if you're able to. Muchísimas gracias otra vez.
No,
y salud.
Salud. Muchas gracias a usted, Matt, nuevamente por darme la oportunidad de poder hablarles a la comunidad.
Con mucho gusto.
A los que pueden tener el acceso a esta página y no, aquí estamos, Restaurante Latino, bienvenidos. Y aquí todos somos amigos y esperemos que esta Navidad sea una linda Navidad para todos.
Sí. Feliz Navidad. Salud.
Salud.
That was my interview with McDonald Espinosa about the fiestas here in Guanacaste. Again, I highly recommend not looking like a total idiot when you go to these things and dressing appropriately for the occasion. Guanacaste is cattle ranching territory, and you need to look your absolute best if you want to go out to these fiestas and celebrate the holidays just like a local. I want to get to my third idea here for the best ways to celebrate the holidays here in Costa Rica, like someone from the area. And it's a very simple idea. I think that everybody out there, rather than focusing on tourism destinations, getting in a zip line or some kind of catamaran, if you're coming to Costa Rica, do your best to build a relationship with a family. And if you come here over the holiday season, go spend the holidays or a very small part of it with that Costa Rican family. You could invite them to your condo, the Airbnb you're renting, make a ton of food, make something beautiful from your culture, whether it's baby back ribs, a ham, anything that the holiday season that you'd like to share with people here. This is one of the most loving cultures on earth. And you'll see, honestly, if you come to Costa Rica for 4 or 5 consecutive years, that it would be hard for you not to build a relationship with a Costa Rican family that would allow you this opportunity. You will see in the country this enormous flood of people coming out to Guanacaste, literally to spend full days sitting around with their family, eating and sharing together. And it's one of the most beautiful things on earth. Every year when the holidays come around here in Costa Rica, and specifically Guanacaste, I'm grateful to be reminded that that's what's really important. And all around me, I see people celebrating in these ways that don't involve thousands of dollars spent on trees and kids and the gifts and everything. It's not about materialism and getting a discount for the newest PlayStation, etc. But you will see Costa Rican families getting together to spend meaningful time together. And if you don't have that opportunity, or you think that it's going to be hard to break that ice, just come here a couple years more. And I would bet that if you eventually built a relationship with someone where you can exchange, talk a little bit, it would be one of the most amazing holiday experiences you could ever have, to come down to Costa Rica. First, spend a day at the beach, hit some fiestas if you can, but more than anything, find a family, spend time with them, and really enjoy your loved ones, because none of us know just how long we'll be able to enjoy those people. Every year, who knows what's going to happen. It's been a joy broadcasting to you tonight. We'll be back on our Wednesday schedule next week, live from Costa Rica at 7 p.m. Costa Rica time. Thanks very much for joining me tonight for this broadcast about the best things to do in Costa Rica over the holidays. If you have any questions, do feel free to send me an email. It's Matt at lat10realty.com, MATT at LAT10realty.com. Really appreciate you joining me. Happy holidays, folks. See you next Wednesday, and Pura Vida.